Hello, happy October, happy fall. If you are new here, welcome to the Astro Bloom podcast. My name is Vanya Banks. I'm a spiritual astrologer and healing guide. And it's nice to have you here. If you're coming back, it's nice to be in your energetic presence again. Welcome back. So, this is another solo episode where I'm going to walk you through the energy of this year's eclipse season. So, we did already have one eclipse season earlier in the spring, in April and May. And now this is our second eclipse portal of 2023. And the eclipse portal really is for the entire month of October, pretty much. So we have two different eclipses within October. The first one being on October 14th and the second one on the 28th. And of course, I've actually chosen to these things always happen this way, but I've chosen to essentially go on an international trip to Scotland, basically during this whole portal, so leaving on the 13th and coming back just shortly after that last eclipse. So of course, these things are always, divinely timed. And I know that there's going to be some potent shifts probably that happen for me in that trip, and we'll see where it takes me. But with all of that aside, I wanted to first shed a little bit of light on eclipses. So first of all, eclipses are just really potent varieties or variations of the new and full moon lunations. And what I mean by this is eclipses either happen on a new moon, so a solar eclipse, or on a full moon, a lunar eclipse. And what happens during eclipses is we have, on a new moon, we have the sun and the moon aligning in the same sign. But then we also have one of the lunar nodes of fate also aligning with the new moon, or, one of the nodes is going to be opposing the new moon. And so what happens is, because these nodes, these lunar nodes, are really connected to our spiritual evolution, collectively and individually, what happens on eclipses is that they are initiations into sort of an accelerated spiritual evolution. And these lunar nodes, there's a south node and a north node. And the north node is sort of where we're all heading. It's the energy we're learning about. It's the zone of sort of discomfort. Whereas the south node is the zone of comfort, the things that might be old, the things that are in the past. They've also been explained as the head and the tail of the dragon. So the head being the north node and the tail being the south node, and the tail being sort of what is being left behind, right? It's the past. And so what we're all collectively being called to do during eclipses is lean into that north node energy and bring the light aspects, the highest vibration of the south node to light in our consciousness and our lives, and release the shadow aspects. So that's essentially what an eclipse is. And I wanted to shed some light on that because people are often, there's a lot of fear around eclipses, eclipse energy being unpredictable, all of these things. But really, eclipses are huge portals into your spiritual evolution, into evolving into the most empowered, version of self that you can be, into the most spiritually aligned version of yourself that you can be. These events have been feared, throughout time. They've been feared because they have an unpredictability to their energy. Things happen within us, outside of us. Sudden events happen that, make us surrender control. But at the end of the day, I want you to remember that eclipses really are a gift from the universe. It might not feel that way in the moment, because often things that happen are things that we, don't predict to happen or don't expect to happen. But during an eclipse portal, you can be sure that whatever happens is actually for your highest good. And we are already in it. This portal already opened on October 1st. So no matter how big or small the shift or how life-altering the event, trust that the universe has your back. It's helping you step into your most heart-centered, empowered self. So instead of feeling victimized by the energy or blaming your perceived problems on it, it's actually a time to listen, to observe, and to surrender to the cosmic flow. So, as I mentioned, the first eclipse is happening in the sign of Libra on October 14th. It is a new moon eclipse or solar eclipse. And essentially, everyone is going to feel this energy. But because the second eclipse is also happening in the sign of Taurus, the fixed and cardinal signs will feel it most intensely. However, you have Libra and Taurus somewhere in your chart, so you're going to feel this energy regardless of what your signs are. It's just that you're going to feel it more intensely if you are one of the fixed signs, so Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, or cardinal signs Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. And it doesn't just have to be your sun sign. It can be that you have a concentration of planets, especially personal planets within these signs, or even your own nodes, for example. So the first October 14th eclipse is really this initiating energy. It's an initiating portal into our spiritual evolution until early 2025 as our nodes transit through Aries and Libra. So the nodes change signs about every 18 months or so, and they shifted into Aries and Libra this summer. And so this is really our first kind of official eclipse with the nodes in these signs. So it's also our first experience with this energy since 2006. And to top it off, this eclipse rolls in just days after Pluto goes direct in Capricorn for the last time in our lives. And you can learn more about Pluto and the shift from Capricorn to Aquarius in my episode where I talk all about that. But essentially, Pluto in Capricorn wants us to unearth everything that is old. Any old conditioning, learned behaviors that have built a foundation which leaves us feeling disempowered. So this is a time as Pluto stations direct from our view on Earth, as there's this forward momentum, as Pluto emerges from the underworld and brings things to consciousness, brings things to light, and makes a difficult aspect, causing tension to this eclipse, the nodes in Aries and Libra and Mercury in Libra. With it, it really brings this, like I said, unearthing, but also a destruction of relating patterns that are not equal in their distribution of power. Because Mercury in Libra is also highlighted during its initial entry into this sign, we're really encouraged to bring diplomacy and tact to our communication efforts and to use our words to face fears and create these shifts. So like I mentioned, we did have, an eclipse earlier this year in Aries. It was at the end of April. And so we did kind of get a taste for this energy already, but the nodes had not yet shifted into Aries and Libra. They were still in the preceding signs of Taurus and Scorpio. So we didn't really fully get the dose of this energy. It was a partial initiation into this Aries North node of the warrior archetype within. This energy did kind of give us that taste for, the need to instill courage, and maybe created some sudden shifts in our lives to really step into our individuality, into our own path. But we're going to keep learning, into 2025 with these nodes and with these eclipses that are going to be happening in Aries and Libra. We're really going to keep learning about what needs to happen for certain relating patterns to be broken. And this might mean that perhaps some relationships have to be released because they're not willing to evolve. They're not willing to shift. Things are not changing. And so these are the kinds of things that are being initiated with the October 14th eclipse. This happens in the 21st degree of Libra. And so, especially anyone with cardinal energy around 21 degrees, you're going to feel this. You're going to feel the tension to make a change. And because eclipses are unpredictable, because eclipses cause sudden shifts, this might this likely, I should say, is not going to be in your control. Things will just happen. Things will be unearthed. Things will shift. But it could also be an internal shift that happens. So, like I said, this is a time to surrender, to observe, and to really listen to our intuition, to follow it, to help ease some of this resistance we might be internally feeling to facing our fears, to seeing the darkness. Pluto very much is about the underworld, the shadow realm. So we have to be willing to see our shadows also reflected to us in relationships. Libra is all about relationship. Aries is all about the self. And this axis is really about finding that balance between the self and the other. And I also talk about this nodal shift in another solo episode, talking about the nodes and blazing your own trail. So if you'd like to dive into that a little bit further, learning about this nodal shift, please find that episode and, dive a little bit deeper with that. But really, that's what I wanted to share about the upcoming eclipse. Now, I will also mention that the planet Venus does have a big focus during our eclipse season in October. We recently went through a Venus retrograde period in late summer, and Venus just finished her post-retrograde shadow, which means that she's returned to the position she was in before the retrograde started. And what this means is that it's sort of full steam ahead on all things Venus related. Venus rules the sign of Libra and rules Taurus, the other eclipse that's happening at the end of the month. So this energy is all about our self-worth, our values, and also the things that we value in relationships, how we align ourselves to those values in relationships, and perhaps how do certain relating patterns or certain relationships in general block us from being in alignment with those values. So the second eclipse, which happens on October 28th, it happens about 5 days into Scorpio season. So this is a full moon eclipse, which means there's certain doors closing. Things are coming to a culmination, to a completion. And this energy really highlights that Taurus and Scorpio axis, because the moon is in Taurus and the sun will be in Scorpio. Jupiter is also involved in this eclipse, but we also still have that influence from the North Node and South Node in Aries and Libra, as well as Chiron, the wounded healer in Aries. So this culmination might really exacerbate our wounding in an effort to bring healing and expansion in alignment with our values. And I want you to really think about this eclipse as a final closure on our Taurus and Scorpio nodal axis journey that we were on since November of 2021. So, like I mentioned, the nodes shifted this summer from Taurus and Scorpio to Aries and Libra. But whenever the nodes shift, we always have these sort of hybrid eclipses where they kind of ease us into the next set of nodes. And so this is one of those eclipses. This is the completion of that energy. And it really is bringing to light, because Scorpio is all about power, that Taurus Scorpio axis is all about the things that we own, our self-worth, in relation to the things we share with others, the vulnerability we share, the energy we share, the resources we share. So this is really bringing to light, what disempowering relationship patterns might be present that keep you from living in alignment with your values, with the way that you see yourself living sustainably, with the long-term goals that you are moving towards in your life. Taurus is all about those things that we put in that long-term effort towards. And so now is the time to accept the writing on the wall with respect to anything that is being shown, anything that is coming to a culmination, anything that is being illuminated. Full moons are all about illumination. They're all about seeing things, allowing the luminaries to illuminate our consciousness, to unearth things. And so this is sort of a time of heightened energy as well. And I want you for this eclipse to remember that if certain things end or feel like they have run their course, if doors close, know that whatever has run its course is for the better. But you'll have to face discomfort, because whenever these unpredictable shifts happen, there is discomfort that is coming through because we're being led into that North Node energy, which is not comfortable. It's unknown. And so we're really trying to, at this time, bring awareness and acceptance to these fears of perhaps asserting yourself, of sharing your truth out of fear of abandonment, rejection, of stepping into the unknown. And it's going to take courage. Actually, when I was preparing for this podcast and, seeking some guidance from my intuition, from my oracle deck, one of the cards I pulled was all about courage, and really finding that balance between the feminine and the masculine, being brave enough to follow our intuition, being brave enough to take action based on our intuition, based on our knowing. And like I said, this might be something you might not actually have any control over. Things just might shift. And in that case, it is your job to do your absolute best to notice what's coming up, to give yourself compassion, to give yourself space, to feel the fear, but to also have the courage to let go and to surrender. So, taking all of this into account, I just wanted to sort of reiterate that October is a month packed with shadow work and potent shifts, potent transformational shifts to bring you closer in alignment with your courage and your personal power. And while it may be difficult in practice in day-to-day life, know that things may not go the way you envision. And the best thing you can do is, again, listen to your intuition and surrender to whatever shifts may be occurring. So releasing control. So that's the wisdom I have to share for you for eclipse season. We can go a lot deeper here, and I will be going a lot deeper with journal prompts and embodiment practices and some more, astrological insight in my new Lunar Alchemy Collective, which is a really special thing I've been working on for the last little while. It's finally live out in the world, and I really hope you can join us. It is an online membership community, and it's available in that sense to everyone within any geographic region, with any budget. It is a 12-month subscription, and you can choose from 5 different tiers. As low as 30 cents a day gets you bi-weekly journal prompts, energy updates for new and full moons. You also get embodiment practices. You get access to an online community You get videos from me that show you how to pull up your chart, how to read where the energy is affecting you. When I say, oh, this energy is happening in this degree of this sign, how do you actually look up where that's affecting you in your chart and understanding what it's bringing up for you? And then you can build on that. You can choose to attend a monthly virtual moon circle where you also get access to the replay if you can't make it in real time. You can choose to build quarterly in-person circles if you are local to Ontario, so in Guelph or in Owen Sound. And you can even choose to build in a monthly handmade ritual tool. And all of these things are available for as little as 30 cents to $2 a day. So I would love to have you join. And I just wanted to say that until October 10th, you get 25% off of your first month on any tier with the code LAC first 5, the number 5. I'll put it in the show notes. This is only available to the first 5 people. So as soon as that's scooped up, then it won't work anymore. So you'll know that the spots have been taken. But I would really love to have you join to help you go deeper with the moon, with this potent eclipse season. And not just that, but beyond into the next year, into Pluto moving into Aquarius and all of the fun things that are going to happen, all of the potent shifts. So thank you so much for listening. Take really good care of yourself. And again, I want to just instill that wisdom, right? That coming back to your innate compass, to your inner wisdom during this eclipse season, and not allowing yourself to get swept up in the chaos, not allowing yourself to get sucked into that fear mongering of eclipse season is, the end. And staying rooted in your heart space, because there is a lot of Venus energy, a lot of heart chakra energy at this time. So sending you so much love and hope to hear from you. Thanks so much for listening. Have a lovely day.